We have a little commercial in the beginning.
We do?
Yes, for our sponsor. Go to the drive.
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yes. We have CodeGuard, and for those who don't know, CodeGuard, #1 solution for backing up your website, has made us a special offer. 30% off any of their products for our MeetUp members.
Eventually we'll get there. So this is
Share it with me.
Is it in this document? The 101?
No, it's in the same folder though. Go ahead and share. Okay. Round table.
How about we do this? Nope.
No, we spelled the name wrong.
Did I? How do you spell that?
Has an A at the end.
Yeah. Close.
That didn't help you. Try round table. Oh, well, there's the down.
This one?
PHP for WordPress, yeah.
Okay.
It's in the same folder.
One thing. Not in this document then?
No. Can't you go up to the folder?
I have no idea. It's only one folder. This is awesome. How about we show that after?
Okay, we can show that at the end. That's
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to get started talking about PHP. Everybody know what PHP is?
Nope.
Guess not. Let's start at the beginning.
All right. You want me to? You want to?
Okay, we go over to my notes. Okay, first of all, PHP is written in C. Does anybody know what that means?
C.
That sentence means? Yeah. Good. Good. Read that.
Make it fall bigger? I'm serious. It's far away.
I know, it's pretty far away.
Diane, you got a few other people that have posted they're coming, but there's apparently a bad wreck on 75, and
Oh my.
they're stuck in traffic.
That's not good.
I don't know how many are coming, but at least 2 said they're trying to make it still.
Well, there's 2 people watching on Periscope right now.
There you
Hey,
go.
people.
Okay.
Maybe those are the 2. Are you stuck in traffic?
That caused the wreck while they were watching.
PHP is what WordPress is written in. So that's why it's important to us, because in order to customize things for WordPress, we need to know HTML, obviously, and we need to know PHP. At a minimum, we need to know PHP and HTML. Okay, my favorite trivia fact about PHP is that the name PHP is a recursive backronym.
What?
A recursive backronym.
What is a
I love
recursive
that.
backronym?
I love that. I'm not sure exactly, except,
I know that.
you know,
There's a lot I don't know.
okay, tell us what that means.
It has the acronym in the acronym.
The acronym, yeah.
In the acronym.
Right, PHP is, the acronym is in the name. The name is actually
PHP is
Hypertext Preprocessor.
Processor.
So,
Does anybody know what it originally stood for?
Personal homepage.
All right.
awesome,
I
awesome.
did a little.
Gold star, gold star. Okay, maybe put these on the screen.
All right.
The references, php.net. These are these are your basic references for PHP. And you know, you always need those because you're gonna have questions. php.net and w3schools.com/php. Those are the 2 best references that I ever found.
What is the other one?
w3schools.com/php.
Okay. I didn't know they had a specific slash.
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
Yes, and they have a very extensive and somewhat easier to read tutorials and explanations than php.net. So, let's start showing some of the basics about PHP for those of you who don't. We're going to start at the very beginning, but we're going to go pretty fast. PHP is written like that. Caret, question mark, PHP. That opens PHP statement. First of all, any page that contains PHP code must have the extension of .php. That's what tells the engine to render it as PHP. And you open, we need your little
Pointer.
pointer thing there.
Mickey, do you have a pointer?
What's your little laser?
Yeah.
The caret, question mark, PHP is how you open a PHP statement. That tells the engine what follows as code.
And if you guys ever see an opening like this and a closing like this, go in and fix it. PHP 3 and 4, I think, have they open and close like that as a shortening version. But that's, I don't know if it's, it still works, but it eventually it
will
won't.
become deprecated, yeah.
So.
And it's against WordPress convention as well. We always want to stay with best practices. So that's how you open PHP, that's how you close it. Anything in between there, the PHP engine will try to render as PHP. You can put other stuff in there, we'll get to that, but that's how you open and close it.
What's
Okay.
the deal with files that we see that don't have an ending mark?
We don't have what?
I see files sometimes that don't have
Yes.
question mark greater than ending in them.
If you're not doing anything afterwards, like in a functions file, which is all PHP, and you're not doing anything after that, it's accessible. In fact, it's recommended to not close the PHP. Because PHP, there's a couple of funny things about it. If there's a space, an empty space at the beginning of a file before the opening PHP, or sometimes ending spaces after the closing, it can cause problems.
Especially if you're dealing with header.php, specifically with WordPress, but any file, sometimes you'll see like the doc type, like, not actually, I never type in the doc type, so I don't know the syntax, but hey, something like that. You never want to have a space there, because if you're rendering a page and you have that, a carriage return, it can break the page. So
PHP is fairly forgiving when it comes to spacing, except in certain instances. Okay, integrating it with HTML. For example, this line right here. It's a line of HTML, and with a PHP command inside of it. You open the PHP, call the function, and then close it. That's actually inside quotes. That's perfectly acceptable. PHP can be rendered that way. I'm going to show them how to do that. Can you take that line and do an echo the whole line and show them how to do it that way too?
So we could
Like
take,
an article.
so we'll go here.
Okay. This is the second way to do exactly the same thing.
Well, this is fun. Trying to do this with everybody watching. So
No pressure.
this, this. I'm going to cut it short, but
That's fine. But this is the idea. You can render the whole thing in PHP. You can write PHP, a whole page in PHP, and just echo everything out. And echo, by the way, is the same thing as print in PHP. Does exactly the same thing. It just sends it to the browser. So the convention, the easiest way to write it, the best practices way to write it, is like this line. You leave everything that's text or HTML in text or HTML and only call PHP when you need it. But this line is perfectly acceptable as well. There are occasions where you might want to echo out a bunch of stuff like that that has some PHP variables inside of it. And the way you do that is the dot. The dot is magic. It tells it that the stuff inside here, print it just like it is, and then the dot is, it concatenates the PHP variable. That's my favorite word, by the way. It's my word of the month. Okay.
Real quick, how many of you guys write PHP from scratch? How many of you guys modify things by hacking and hacking isn't necessarily a bad term, so we all do it. But how do you guys, a lot of you guys edit the existing themes? Child themes? Okay, cool.
But you can, how many of you can read PHP and tell what it's doing? Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, that's where we all start, is looking at something that somebody else has written and trying to deconstruct it and figure out what it does. That's one of the best ways to learn. Okay, let's talk about comments in PHP.
Line 17 here.
Yep.
One way to do a comment. Another way is
Double backslash there. And you can do that at the beginning, or, I mean, you can do that at the end of a line of existing code as well. It doesn't have to stand by itself. You can have stuff before it that will work. It just, the double slash says ignore everything to the end of this line. And then the slash asterisk is for multi-line comments. You'll see that at the top of your template pages or your style sheets. And that says keep ignoring stuff until we get to the next slash.
which is very similar to CSS. Actually, with CSS, you can't do the double slash. You have to do it the
Right, you
opening
have to
and
do it that
closing.
way.
So,
So you wouldn't end with a double slash, you just end with a normal.
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't end with a double slash, that you start your comments, now you're ending your comments.
Correct. Yeah, in fact, it'll, I mean,
I don't know what would happen if you do that.
well, it's gonna ignore it.
Well, it'll ignore it.
Yeah.
Because it's already ignoring till the end of the line
Yep.
there anyway. So you can do it if you wanted to. And you can put as many asterisks there as you want. Sometimes, in my code, I'll put like half a line of asterisks there as a visual placeholder, so when I'm looking for the next section, I can find it by seeing a long line of asterisks there.
And keep organized.
Yeah, well.
What's your editor here?
Huh?
What's
PHP Storm.
PHP Storm. Okay.
Spend the money.
Yes, yes. It'll take you a while to get used to it, but it's worth it.
It allows you to do stuff like, this is a function, I can hit Command B, or probably Control, whatever, and it jumps me directly into the function that I'm looking at, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of both. That's a whole thing in itself. Okay, variables. Dealing with variables. This is one of the huge main reasons we use PHP is because we can use variables.
I don't know. Here, we'll do this, so.
Okay, how you set a variable?
Yeah.
Variables always begin with $signs, have no spaces. Are variables?
Is that right?
That's
I was in a conference call the other day and I kept calling the person the wrong name and she corrected me, so.
Are variable names cap sensitive? I don't know.
Um,
Just occurred to me.
Are they what?
Let's see.
Capital sensitive.
Case sensitive?
Case sensitive, sorry. Case sensitive.
No, I don't think they are. So you couldn't have capital, $ capital ABC and $ lowercase ABC. I think you'd find the same
I
thing.
don't know.
That's fine. I never use.
I never use them.
They are.
Actually,
They're
they
case
are.
sensitive.
Yes, they are. Okay, so they're case
What
sensitive.
did you disprove?
Oh, okay.
We just proved that that errand is different than that errand. So
Yeah.
they're case sensitive.
So here, let me put so you guys can read it. We'll do a echo like this. So we're setting Aaron here, and we're setting a different text basically, but with all caps. And so we refresh. This is variable 1, lowercase Aaron, and this is second variable capital Aaron. So it's case sensitive.
Just taught myself something
Yeah.
new. Okay.
Could you tell us how you're running this? What's your harness to run what you're testing here?
So basically, it's just a web page. It's a PHP file within a WordPress theme. So the actual file is page-test.php because of the hierarchy, the WordPress hierarchy. And if you're not familiar with the hierarchy, Google it because it saves you a whole lot of time. But I created this page called page-test.php, and I went into here and created a page called test. And the way the hierarchy works is it first thing WordPress is going to do when you try to render this page. Well, one of the things it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, is there a page template called test? And it'll look for page-test.php. So, and then it looks at it. So it looks at it and then it loads that template, and that template is specifically this file here. So if I go here and I wipe that out, save the file, refresh the page. That's everybody's favorite screen, right? With WordPress. No, but there's actually no errors. It's just an empty page. So, okay.
Okay. You want to go to single versus double quotes?
Yep. So we have.
In many cases, single quotes, double quotes are optional. You can use either one. In certain cases, it's preferable, or you need to use one or the other.
So my kid, Lily, you can do this, or, well, sorry. I'll explain the difference.
Does anybody know the difference?
Let's see.
You know PHP, so I'm not going to call on you. Just kidding.
Okay. Well, my mouse isn't going to do that, is it? Since we have double quotes, it's going to keep echoing until we get to the next double quote. In this line, we have single quotes, so it's going to stop echoing when we get there, unless we escape it by using the backslash, which tells it just render this. This is not the end of the echo statement. This is a character we want you to render.
So it won't, I'll put a break in here so you guys can see it. It's not going to render, it's not going to break it, because
Right.
if we have this in here, this will be fun.
Yeah, let's see what it does.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah.
And this, by the way, is the very best way to learn programming. Do it and see what happens. And when it breaks, figure out why. That's how we all learn.
Yep. Can you think of a different example of that? Because I deal with that all the time, but I can't think of a good example of.
Ahref. I mean, if you're printing out a, that's what I wrote in mine. my example was an A command.
Okay, so
Where you
yeah,
have,
that's,
where you have quotes inside the command.
yeah, this is really good. So a href equals.
See, in that case, by using a single quote on the outside, to show the echo statement, you save yourself an awful lot of time escaping all those double quotes inside there. Well, you could do it double and then you could use single quotes on something HTML, but the truth is if you write much code, you're in the habit of using double quotes in your parameters. At least you should be, because that's the way they're written in HTML.
So same concept.
Right.
The majority of the time, I'll use single quotes, unless for some reason unless I'm dealing with a ton of like double quotes in the actual content. But two different ways to do it. Line 17 is a better way.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And if you use one, if you open with one, you would obviously have to close with the same one. You can't switch back and forth. You have to choose.
Aaron, why do you like 17 better than 18?
It's lower. I like low numbers. I'm just kidding. I don't have to escape anything. I don't have to put forwards or backslashes in there. That's it. Just saves me time. So, in the majority of what you'll see within plugins and themes, you'll see single quotes. It's more of a, I don't know if that's the WordPress standards. It probably is, and that's probably why I do it, but.
Well, I do it because I learned writing HTML, and you always use double quotes for parameters. And so when you want to enclose that in something, it's just easier to enclose it in single quotes than they'll learn to type it a different way.
All right, one more example, and this is one way to do it that I will see that I don't like. People will do this. You don't just start over. Let me think. A href. You can use single quotes within HTML. I don't know if it's acceptable. I don't know if it's standards. I'll see it occasionally. So when you go and you look at the actual source here,
It's certainly not convention.
it actually will echo out singles there.
You
So
can
which,
no quotes if you want. That still works most of the time.
As long as there's no spaces, you
Right.
can do it without quotes.
Those
That's
suggested.
I was
definitely
gonna
a no-no.
say, and if you want Mickey to write some code, you know? Just kidding. So, but I can't even see that, so it's okay. There. All right. Those are differences. Those.
Did you mention that all lines end with semicolon?
Not, but
no.
that's a good,
They,
all, not just lines, but all PHP commands have to end with a semicolon. With the exception that, for example, you
about
could
to say.
take, well, okay, you could take the semicolon off right there, and it would still work. Because there's only one PHP statement there. And if you close the PHP right there without a line break, it'll still work. But yes, all PHP statements before line break have to end in a semicolon.
so, just so you know, that's actually not,
Well,
there we go. So,
Except with ifs.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Ifs don't
within, when you're
use
dealing
it.
with
Yeah, that's
loops
true.
and,
Yeah.
stuff like that, you won't end in a semicolon, but just an example.
But, well, do another line after echo. Put another statement in there. The semicolon essentially tells PHP, Okay, that was one thing, now we're gonna do something else.
Actually, that works.
Yes, it does, because that's all one statement.
Yep.
That's true,
It's-
so line break doesn't count, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's the PHP statement, or command, or whatever you wanna call it, that determines where you put the semicolons. You could, if you take that semicolon off, and go to the next line and do another echo statement,
Here.
yeah, without the semicolon, take the semicolon off the line above,
Okay.
and you can see the error.
It's gonna break on line 22.
Yes.
PHP Storm doesn't give you an error there?
Oh yeah, sure. Right there.
Okay,
Does this screen
No.
blur?
okay.
We'll try to keep.
Yeah, and it's also, it's seeing
We
the,
try to keep large fonts.
that little red line, can you guys, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
It's,
little red
it's
line
saying,
there.
hey, stupid, so, refresh and
There you
it
go.
breaks.
It wasn't expecting that command, that echo command, because we hadn't told it was done with whatever it was doing before.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good
great
point.
discussion. Great discussion, it was good.
We're talking about concatenating.
Let's cover that because
Okay.
I think that's important.
It is important, but it's a little tricky.
Can I, you want me to talk?
Go.
Okay, so let's, equals some text. Or, you know what, let's do this. We'll do Aaron here. So we can do, if I do this, obviously, what is that gonna echo out? It's gonna echo out, my name is $A, okay? So we want to concatenate, which, yeah, I can't say, because it doesn't see this as a variable at this point, it sees it as text. So if you go like this, well actually, you know what, let's do
You don't need them all.
I was gonna say, we don't need the last one. That'll echo out, my name is the variable A, which will be, you know what, let me clear out some of these. I'm getting too,
You're echoing too much.
so. That's concatenating. Sometimes you'll see, so it's just continuing basically, and it's parsing the PHP at that point.
And the biggest mistake, or the most common mistake you'll make there is spaces. Because you'll write, my name is, and then close the quote, and then your variable, and you'll see that there's no space because it's very literal.
Right. Yeah, so this will be,
I do
Together.
that all the time.
and then there's another way to do it. You can, and this is all just preference. So my name is, I wouldn't have did that. So two of the exact same things, just two different ways to do it. This is shorter, obviously, and this does the same thing. And really, it all depends on not how messy, but how complex what you're trying to do there. A lot of times, I'll have a ahref equals this, and then within the a link is a image source equals, and all of the, it's a really long string, and so I'll break it up into different lines of code.
Yeah, just for readability.
Yeah.
Also note that the dots and the spacing outside of the quotes is unimportant. You can have a space before the $, after the A, doesn't affect anything, or you can run it all together. Yeah, spacing that's one of the places where spacing is not important.
But it is
Inside
important
the
here,
quotes,
right?
No.
It isn't? You're right.
Only inside the quotes. Only when you're rendering literal stuff isn't important.
Cool.
And frustratingly, it's not super important, because you can put 10 spaces in there, HTML will cut out all of one.
It's true.
You want more.
Well, if you want more space, then you use the non-breaking space.
You guys know what this? Yeah. It took me
Next
forever
one.
to realize what the ampersand in BSP, non-breaking space. Anyway.
Will that
You know-
work,
you know
will that
the
work inside the
browsers-
quote?
Yeah.
If you put it inside the quote, you know, browsers, if you leave a whole bunch of spaces, the browsers will condense that down to one space. So if you want multiple spaces, you have to use that non-breaking space and just put a bunch of them in there to tell it there's more than one space supposed to be. That's not PHP, that's HTML.
Yeah. Cool. Any questions about that long word I can't say?
Concatenate?
None? Okay.
They're not sure what that means yet.
Joining.
Yeah. Okay, you wanna do operators or spacing?
Can I
We've been
just-
talking about spacing.
In a case like that, isn't that when you might also use the double quotes because you don't have to do concatenation because the $A works?
Yes.
Yeah, and, you know,
Yeah,
it's
you
one of
can.
those things where you just kind of get into the habit of, okay, I know I'm gonna have a few variables in here and I don't wanna be doing dot.
Right. Well, also with using something like a good editor, you know, it'll open things for you. You know, so if I do a double quote, it'll automatically print out the second quote, so it makes it a little easier. It's sometimes annoying, but
Right.
there it's good. I'm just gonna show this.
Okay, there you go. Operators. Most of these are pretty standard, you know them from everything else you do. Modulus. Wasn't sure of the name for that. Who knows what that means? How you use it, where you use it?
I'll ask you, do you know what?
Yeah, well, it's like the fmod function in PHP also, right? You get, I use that more to get the, like a remainder, you know, X comma Y.
Most commonly I use it, like, for example, you see how every other line is a different shade? You can do that, you can do that by saying, is the line number, is mod line number equals 1 or equals 0? And mod is there a remainder? And what is the remainder? You can also do it if you have a set number of like divisions or fields that you want across a page and then you want a line break. You set it for mod 5 or mod 3. And that means if this line number is divisible evenly by 3, then give us a new line. That's the function for it. Or that's the use case for it. That one's pretty handy to have when you're doing things like that.
So you would do, if you're doing a count, like let's say what you said, like each row, I use it mostly for, let's say we have 3 divs, 3 blocks of HTML. I will do while the count
Count is less than
is
10.
yeah is less than 10, do this, and then for each one of them, if the remainder is if it's divisible by 3 and there's a remainder, then echo this out. If not, do something else. If that makes, you'd have to kind of tinker with it. It's a little confusing, but it comes in pretty handy. So
I'll just show them how to increment the count. The shortcut way.
so you know what, we'll do this. Real world. Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to think of divs.
Do spans. Instead of divs, spans don't on that, it's weird.
Okay, that works. Oh, it fixed it for me.
Yes, it did.
Man,
And you need to put your count up above the campus or above the,
you're right.
and show the shortcut for that.
I don't use that, so,
Right.
but it works, so, yeah.
I'm
If you want to
cheating,
increment
I'm
the
cheating
number,
and
you
looking at
just do
this
count
W3
plus.
schools. Why do you have a double equal in that assignment?
You don't need it.
Is there a reason for the double
No.
equal?
It's a mistyping.
Wait,
That double
Just do
equal
count
sign
plus
in your
plus.
assignment.
yeah, you're right, you're right. Okay,
Yeah, count plus
Excuse me,
plus
I
does
wouldn't
the
be
same
critical, I'm
thing.
just trying to compare.
No, no.
You're right.
hey man,
We're
I'm
trying to
correct
type
all
and
the
talk
time,
at the same
so.
time.
Wow, that'll work.
Yeah, the plus plus at the end is an increment. It means take it up one increment,
So let's see if this works.
See,
okay? Oops.
oops, red line.
Oh, you forgot, yeah.
They don't forget
Missing
that.
semicolon,
It doesn't
So
work.
it's doing,
yeah.
it's
At
doing,
every third line,
it's doing something.
it's
So-
not doing what you wanted it to, though.
You know, here we go, this is better. We'll do,
Maybe where you're incrementing it.
well, we'll see. That keeps popping up straight through.
It's doing a break except on the third line. If not, count on three. Try that. The exclamation point in front of means not. If you want to have something that's not equal, exclamation point equals.
I'm just
And
trying to
this-
figure, it's confusing for me, so.
Well, it is confusing, that's why it's like.
Yeah, I can't do that on the fly. So,
But anyway, that's what a module does, and to get it to do what you want it to do, Google it, play with it. Yeah.
The next thing you do would be to echo out $count.
we count on what?
Debugging,
Yeah,
I'd be
Yeah,
echoing out
exactly.
$count and say, what am I
Exactly.
doing here?
right.
What is the count here? Right.
Yeah,
So, anyway, well,
Okay.
it's just a good way to, I do it a lot of times with dealing with, when I have rows of things and I need to work it to the next line based on how many of those exist.
Right.
So,
Yeah, like a table, if you're doing a tabular display, you
Right.
need to number.
yeah, that's what she had said that,
Or you want to color
like those
the
rows.
individual lines, different colors, and bit like that, to get some contrast
Yep.
in your display. Go down to the next ones, or are you just going to leave it with the basics?
I would say stick with the basics because
Okay.
I never, I don't even know what that last one is. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either.
that's the PHP 5.6. That's why.
what,
No, it's
exponentiation?
because it's higher math, and I don't do that.
Which one are you looking at?
The last one here.
Exponentiation.
Yeah, which is new
X
in
squared,
5.6. I'm sorry.
X squared.
Okay, which
It's the exponent. X raised to the Y power.
I don't do
Okay.
higher math.
Yeah, I've never needed to.
Never done that in business at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 years.
Okay. There we go.
Square root.
Okay, do you want to do any more with spacing? Do we
Yeah.
kind of cover that? Okay. However, do be aware when you write things, when you write WordPress code, that even though PHP is very forgiving with spaces or not spaces or how many spaces, WordPress has very definite standards. So go to the codex and look those up. Conditionals, if-then statements, or if-else-then statements.
So,
Now, if you went to another page.
yeah, which would be, if I have any other pages.
Okay,
Well, that's a page.
well, that's a page, and it doesn't have
You know,
that.
the home page is a, no, it isn't, it's a post. Nonetheless, well, here, I'm gonna go create a page.
Conditional statements are one of the most valuable and useful things we have. It lets us do different things in different pages and in different based on different conditions. You're all familiar with what we're talking about, right? If the user is logged in, you show them one thing. If they're not, you show them something else. If they're on the home page, you do this. If they're on a different page, you do that. We use if-then statements all the time, all the time. It's what keeps everything from being the same.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really simple concept. The syntax for that is your if statement, which is enclosed in bracket, in parens, and then what happens if the condition is true is enclosed in the brackets. That can be as much or as little as you want. You can also do else. If that's true, if it's true, do this, otherwise do this.
I did that wrong. Oh, okay.
Okay. And there's a third,
What do we do?
else if,
Okay.
that we can have as many conditions as we want. So if it's the test page, you do this. Else if, or another otherwise, if it's a sample page, and if neither of those is true, then the final else statement applies. And as a point of whatever, else if can be one word or it can be two words. It can be else if. I don't know why, but it makes no difference. But you have to spell it right.
Well, was it Perl? I think
Yeah.
that works. Don't use Perl. Okay.
Everybody following? Anybody lost?
No questions?
It's either a good sign or a bad sign, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's not WordPress standards. There. The spacing.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
Okay, you want to go through some of the some of the common conditionals that WordPress gives us is home, is page, is user logged in. If you look at the codex, codex.wordpress.org/conditional_tags, there are tons of them that WordPress has already built the queries. You don't have to. Is home is one of them. Is page. That tells you if you're on a page versus your blog.
So jump in.
Is user logged in?
So this is one more reason to use a good editor that understands and aware of WordPress. To remember is user logged in. That's a little difficult. But you can use stuff like if is user logged in, and I'm assuming, actually I'm not going to assume. One second. I'm going to use PHP Storm and look at this function. It says get the current user and return it. So that's what it's needed. It does not accept variables.
Parameters.
That's sorry.
yes or no. Is the current user logged in, yes or no? That's the information you get from that. And then you can do whatever you want to do based on that information, whether they're logged in or not.
Logged in, we go into incognito mode. So you won't see that in the header. Logged in, it will. What else? You'll see, yeah, a lot of people, when I build themes, we normally will use home.php for the home page, or front underscore page.php for the front page. That's how we build out the home page normally, but you can do, and I see it all the time, and before I understood the hierarchy and what WordPress was looking for, when you hit a page, I would do stuff like if is home, slider markup. So if you wanted something to only show up on the home page, but you didn't build your own page template, you can use something like that. What else we got?
I'm looking for some others that are particularly useful. Those are the ones I put down. Front page, home page, is admin, which tells if you're building a plugin, it's important to know whether somebody is, whether you're looking at an admin page or a front end page. Is single. That is single is what lets you differentiate your styling from a blog archive versus a page which has one blog post on it.
Quick, let me show you guys the, I can never spell hierarchy, so.
There you go.
Well, they made it prettier too. There's the
somebody
color
did a
coded one.
version of it.
So it's really cool. So when someone hits WordPress, if it's a single page, it's gonna.
Where'd you find that?
I Googled it. It's on the codex somewhere.
Go in the codex and type in template hierarchy.
It's so weird having such a low resolution. It's hard to. Anyway, but like, so the front page, when you go to domain.com, it's going to, hit this. If front page exists, it's going to load the front page. If not, jump over here, then jump to the page template. If the page template doesn't, exist, then look for this, then look for this, then look for this, page, and if page.php doesn't exist, hit the singular, so, which is actually new. It used to would hit index.php, so.
Well, it does after it's.
Oh, it does, yeah, sorry.
Everything goes back to
Every-
index, because that's the only page template you actually need,
Right.
unless if you want all your pages to look alike.
So WordPress hits, it goes through all of these things every time a page is loaded. So if you're building themes or modifying themes, you can a lot of times bypass doing these. If page is this, then do that, and you can just build like if you want to do a tag archive page, you just create the file.
Okay, does anybody have questions? Anybody really lost, or are you all bored, sleeping?
Anybody learn anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a couple.
Do you want to do functions now, or go for each file use, or you got about half an hour, maybe 15 minutes?
You know what? Real quick, this is one thing that messed me up for a while. Do you guys know the difference between the content, which actually won't work right there. Let me just. The content and you guys know the difference?
Isn't it echo versus
Yeah.
return?
So this first one, the content, it's going to, well actually, PHP storm. Here we go.
What's the command? I've seen it and I can't recall. There's a great thing in dump things.
Var dump.
Bar dump.
So I'll show you that in a minute. So the content is going to echo out the content. We do this, whoops. The content, it can accept variables. It gets the content, does this, applies some filters, and then it returns the content and echoes it. Get the content, it's a little more complex, but at the end, it returns the content, but it doesn't echo it out. So if you are trying to do something like that, if you're using a get function and you want to display it, make sure you are doing this echo. I've spent many times trying to figure out why am I not seeing this? Why am I not seeing this? And that's because I didn't tell it to echo. And that's true with like use. What's the use a shortcode? Do shortcode.
Yeah.
And you can do like.
Right.
I never use shortcodes. What's a built-in
Gallery.
gallery? Actually, gallery. So doing this shortcode here is great. That's fully functional, functionality, everything, except you're not going to see anything. Make sure you do the echo there. So, but almost every, I should say almost, but a lot of things in WordPress have the get. I mean, you can.
Right. For example, if you want to know what the thumbnail, what the featured image is for a post, but you don't want to put it in your code right there, you would do get the post thumbnail.
Right.
I just saw that one.
So you want to get the ID.
You want to get the ID
You want to
for
get the
some
ID of
reason.
it.
Maybe you want to link to it or whatever. You can get it without showing it. Make sense? Sometimes you want to get the information and do something with it first before you spit it out, before you echo it. Your shortcode is not closed. So it won't work anyway, but
Yeah.
that one trips me out more often than not.
So.
Yes. Devils in the details, right?
Yep.
You want to look at blog info?
Sure.
It's not really a function, but it is. It's a blog info is one of the most useful queries that WordPress gives us, and this query runs on every page to always have information to all things included in blog info. Do you have a quick link to show what?
That's what I'm looking at.
Well, there you go. There's a list of them. It gives you your URL, the description of the page,
Okay.
the RSS URL. Can you dump? You can dump blog info, right?
Sure.
Cryptor?
That works.
Well, yeah.
That's a function. What I need to do. What page am I on?
Do you need a true? Or is that?
so if we
Okay,
look
so
at
you
this.
can't dump it, okay. In
So-
other words, you can look up this in your codex, but this gives you an awful lot of information about every single page that's very useful sometimes to know.
Is blog info necessarily a blog page, or is it any type of template?
Any template. This runs every time WordPress, it runs in WP Header, I believe. And, the WP Head is a part of the functions there. One of the most common uses for it is, in header.php, or anywhere you want to include a file, and you want to reference it to your style sheet directory or your template directory, blog info, template underscore directory, or style sheet underscore directory gives you the relative path to your theme. Do one of those.
Would get blog info do what you're looking for?
Maybe.
I don't know.
And I'm cheating.
I don't know, maybe.
Returns information about your site. Okay. Show filter string.
Function exists, so sure. Then we can set
Get
up,
blog info.
but, yeah, but there,
Yeah, you still need to show it have the string of what you want.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
so,
Do a style sheet.
there should be function, though, shouldn't it?
you could do that.
Huh? Style sheet underscore directory.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah. If you want to include a special file, a special style sheet, or a special include, whatever, and you obviously don't want to hard code any URLs, ever. So that gives you the path to the current style sheet. So that will change if you update, if you change themes or whatever. It's always going to be, that's always going to be your main theme directory, whether it's child theme or anything. So you can, if you have an image directory in there, you do blog info style sheet directory / images, and then you can always find your whatever's included.
Really hard to do, but, so that's the directory, we would echo,
/ images / my image, whatever. Yeah. Like that.
does that make sense?
Following?
So where instead of, a lot of times I'll see people do stuff like they want the logo to show up, and they do image source equals / WP content / themes / 15,
Yeah.
15, what, 2015, sorry, 2015 / images / logo.png.
What's wrong with that? Anybody?
What period of time?
Euler?
No one knows what's wrong with that?
Nobody knows what's wrong with that statement, why that's not good practice?
Well, if you
It'll
switch your
work.
theme, it's gone.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
You change your theme, you've just lost your image.
Yeah.
Or if, for example, WordPress does not have to reside in, or the themes and plugins and whatnot it does not need to exist, or doesn't have to exist in WP content. A lot of times I'll put WordPress in fact, our framework does that. It puts WordPress in its own directory, and then I create a content directory, just called content, and then in there /themes / plugins, because I feel like the content management system needs it needs to be totally different than the content. For some, like if I were to get a plugin and someone decided to hard code something like that, and I did that with my first plugin. I hard coded because I just assumed everyone had their files in /WP content. But that's a very bad way to do it, and doing this.
It also doesn't work
is
if
a
you
lot
have
better.
WordPress installed in some directory,
Yeah.
which a lot of people do now.
Yep. same, the markup will be identical, meaning on the front end. It's just the first version is a much safer way to do it. So.
And we always want to code so that we don't have to go back and redo it when we make changes in the future, right? We don't have one to redo our work. And we don't want other developers to look at us and go, why did you do it that way?
Bless you.
What else? It was 25 till.
Is there anything specifically that you guys are want to know how to do?
Would you go back and find that diagram you found a second ago?
Hierarchy?
Let's see.
What is that? Template hierarchy.
Yeah. Go to WordPress.org and type in template hierarchy.
I keep sending this. That's it. You want to talk about next month, or?
Yeah, we're going to continue next month. Yes, get a little bit deeper into WordPress and some actual case uses for things. Homework before next month. Pick one of the page templates in your site or a site and deconstruct it. Try to figure out what every piece of it does. And play around with making some changes. I mean, that's one of the ways you find out what things do. Change something, see what happens. If it breaks, put it back. But breaking things and, seeing what happens when you make changes to variables or to anything is how you learn what things do. That's how I learn what things do.
That's how I realized I was doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you break your toys and then you figure out why they don't work anymore. Any questions?
No. All right.
We're either very good or very bad.
I don't know.
Very good.
Cool.
Next month, before you leave, next week, wait, I have the things going on. Next week, 6:30 p.m. Huh?
Yes.
6:30 p.m. Kathy's meetup at the Polk County Annex.
It would be
Polk County Annex. Okay, Kathy, tell them when your meetup is. Would you?
Next Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30, Introduction to WooCommerce at the East Cobb Government Center.
Right.
It's across the street from Mount Bethel, almost at elementary school, that be Mount Bethel United Methodist Church. It's a high-level overview to plug-in WooCommerce.
Perfect. The week after that, back here.
Wait. My meetup.
Oh, I'm sorry. Aaron's meetup.
The day before yours, downtown Atlanta at Polygon at Atlantic Station. Basically, it's basically a security, how to make your site more secure. So,
Right. Then the week after that, back here in this room is Mickey's meetup. Mickey, what's your meetup? What is your meetup about this month? What?
Stop asking
I
him
know,
hard
I was looking mine
questions.
up, so don't feel bad. I'm like,
Google
what are we talking?
Analytics,
Oh, yeah,
Google
Google Search
Webcams.
Console.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Google Search, what used to be called Google Webmaster Search Console, and why if you do any websites, you need to be using it at least a little bit, if not a lot.
What is your,
2 weeks from today,
is that,
in this room at lunchtime. It's on the same meetup group.
And this meetup next month will not be on the first Thursday, it will be on the second Thursday. And it will be in the room across the hall. And we'll
This one?
schedule this one. Will be on the second Thursday in October. And we'll schedule in conflict with the library. Can we run our commercial now?
Yes. Do we have audio? Is this?
Yeah, it does, that does, I think it does audio.
Audio?
In theory, I've never done it. I wouldn't count on it.
We'll
That's
try.
one of my favorite things to.
Well, essentially, CodeGuard has offered any of you 30% discount on all of their products.
Wow. All right.
I can never spell
Any,
it.
any account that you set up.
Do you want to share this code with the web or these three
It's
poor
not-
people
it's
who aren't
not-
here?
It's not a code.
Oh.
Go
Woo, you're
to-
on the inside track, people.
Go to codeguard.com, sign up for your account, which has a 2-week free trial. After you've signed up, you didn't find the slide, did you?
No, I have no idea what the slide is.
After you have
So,
signed up, send an email to our contact at CodeGuard,
Chris.
which is Chris. His email is chris@codeguard.com, strangely enough, and he will apply the discount to your account.
How many of you guys have backups of your site?
How many of you today have a current, up-to-date backup that is not on your hosting server? Awesome.
How many of you guys have tested those backups?
Oh.
Some of them.
They're Schrodinger's backups, yes they are.
Okay.
There's Schrodinger's backup.
I like that. I hadn't heard
Well,
of
they
it.
are.
Yeah, that's
Until you try it, you don't know.
both perfect and corrupt.
CodeGuard, by the way, has two business models. One is a monthly, I think it's like $20 a month or something, and then whatever the discount is, and you would get daily backups and incremental backups, or let's say one file gets corrupt, you can restore that. They have another business model that, or another plan, basically, that is, if your site's screwed up, then restore. And you pay nothing to do the backups. You only pay when something's wrong and you need to restore. So
And then it's only $20.
then it's $20.
And
So-
compare that to the 100 or 200 that I've heard quoted from hosts who want to restore your site.
So,
It's
so
an
it's,
awesome service.
I mean, so it's basically free to have daily backups for your site. So it's kind of crazy not to do something like that. So,
And at $5 a month, that's kind of a no-brainer anyway, even without the discount, so.
all right.
Okay, commercial done.
Where is the commercial?
It's on YouTube. I sent you a slide that had the commercial on it. Let me see if I can get it. YouTube,
This one?
what was that?
Seems good.
I don't think so.
There's a lot of things in life we wish we could go back and undo. Most nights in college, that one relationship your friends warned you about, the time that guy put on in front of you, and that colossal disaster that wreaked havoc on your website. Yeah, the one that cost you a crap load of money to fix and made you cry harder than when you watched Titanic by yourself. As a business owner, your website is a crucial part of your life and business, and when it gets messed up, you're in a world of hurt. Whether a development disaster occurs, your server crashes, or you get hacked, you're looking at major wreckage. There's astronomical repair costs. Your site could be down for an extended period, and you could lose serious revenue. Plus, your reputation suffers, your AdWords campaigns suffer, and sometimes that's only the beginning. It makes you want to weep just thinking about it. But what if there was a way to protect your site from everything? What if there was a way to turn back the clock anytime disaster strikes? Well, now there is, with CodeGuard. CodeGuard is like a time machine that lets you go back and undo any damage that happens to your site. Here's how it works. CodeGuard takes regular snapshots of your site to monitor for any changes, wanted or unwanted, and then stores the snapshots when changes have been detected. Anytime a change is made, CodeGuard can inform you to make sure the changes are legit. So, if something happens that shouldn't, a server goes down, some scumbag hacker breaks in, or your cat walks across the keyboard and deletes every important file on command, CodeGuard lets you undo any changes with the click of a button and revert back to the last clean version of your site, which means no more repair bills and no more tears. Awesome, right? Now, if only there was an undo button for that other stuff. Start protecting your site today at codeguard.com.
I got one quick commercial too. We are doing meaning people in Atlanta are doing a thing called 4848, and we are looking for people that not only write code, but we need designers, and we need people that may not write themes from scratch, people that know how to get a Genesis template and manipulate that. We're building 48 websites in 48 hours for 48 nonprofits, and would love to have people there. So, sales pitch there. So, check it out, 48and48.org.
Where's it gonna happen? Is it?
General Assembly on Ponce, what do they call it?
Old Fort Ford.
That.
The old Sears building on Ponce.
Yep.
More recently, the annex, whatever it was.
Wow. There's a hosting service.
So.
Which hosting services sponsored it?
I don't think any. Wait, no, SiteGuard. SiteGround, sorry. SiteGround. They are, basically we're using a service called Evermore. A guy named Cliff Steele has built a system that makes it easy to build some sites. And we're using that for the majority of the sites to build the sites. In 48 hours, it'll be hard to write everything from scratch. So we're kind of using I wouldn't say a templating system, but we're using a platform to do it.
Kind of like a Wix?
I'm sorry?
Kind of like a Wix?
No, more of, I mean, it's custom WordPress, but we're using the Genesis, what's it called, SiteGround? No. Studio Press, thank you, Studio Press,
Genesis,
all of their
framework,
themes.
yeah.
So it's to allow people that don't really write code to be able to join in, and then also the developers that can write stuff from scratch, they'll be able to jump in and do plug-in development for those sites. So that's it.
Okay, we're done. Thank you very much.
Bye.